When it comes to scary stories that have been passed down throughout generations, most people think of ghost stories or maybe urban legends about alligators playing Dungeons and Dragons. But there are some scary stories out there that aren't exactly supernatural in nature. In fact, these stories are so realistic that they could happen at any time, anywhere, and they might even have already happened. Here are 4 scary stories that were never supposed to be told. Before we get started though, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and today we'll be taking a look at 4 scary stories that were never supposed to be told. But before we get into all that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, that way you don't miss another video. Also, let's aim for 1,000 likes on this one, so drop a like, leave a comment, and let's get into it. Number 4, The Babysitter. In our modern age, it seems like it's almost easy to forget how dangerous life can be. We know this because there are some people who remember when things were much different. Take, for example, the golden age of piracy, which took place from the 16th to 17th century. It was during this time that pirates roamed the seas, stealing ships and plundering treasure from passing vessels. These pirates were ruthless and would stop at nothing to get what they wanted. One pirate, however, seemed to have developed a strange sort of morality. Black Bart Roberts was a real pirate who operated off the coast of Africa. He was known for his brutality, but he had one rule that set him apart from the other pirates. He never harmed children. This made him something of an enigma among his fellow pirates, who were known for their complete lack of mercy. So why did he develop this strange rule? Well, legend has it that one day while he was out to sea, he came across a ship full of women and children. Instead of killing them all, he decided to spare the children and let them go. This act of mercy stayed with him for the rest of his life, and he never killed a child ever again. He became known for returning any children he found on his travels back to land unharmed. But despite this, he still plundered and pillaged like any other pirate. He stole and murdered men, but somehow always seemed to stop short when it came to children. It seems that Black Bart Roberts realized that killing children just wasn't worth the infamy. No matter what treasure they held, they weren't worth the lifelong guilt he would feel after taking an innocent life. To this day, we don't know exactly why he developed this rule, but it is a fascinating look into the mind of a man who was otherwise known for his ruthlessness. What do you think? Why do you think he didn't kill kids? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And now, moving on to our next story. No. 3. The Red Room. Have you ever heard of the Red Room? It's a mysterious place that no one knows about. People who have seen it say it's filled with unspeakable horrors beyond our comprehension. Those who hear the screams coming from inside it can never quite make sense of the sounds. Some say the Red Room is a place where lost souls are trapped forever, forced to relive their worst nightmares over and over again. Others believe it's a portal to hell itself, a gateway to the deepest pits of the underworld. There are even those who claim the Red Room is simply a figment of the imagination, a collective unconsciousness of humanity's darkest fears. But there may be some truth to this terrifying tale. You see, the Red Room was first described by a man named Z.F.W. Hoffmann in 1832. He was a German writer who was known for his dark and macabre stories. In one of his tales, he described a red room that was located in the basement of an old house. The room was filled with strange symbols and objects that seemed to defy explanation. He said that anyone who entered the room was never seen again. Of course, this was just a story, and many people dismissed it as just that, a story. But over the years, similar stories have popped up all over the world. Each story is a bit different, but they all have one thing in common: a mysterious red room that seems to be hiding something sinister. One of the most famous modern accounts of the Red Room comes from a man named Brian Bethel. In 1992, Bethel was working as a security guard at an apartment complex in New York City. One night he heard a noise coming from one of the apartments. As he investigated, he came across a door that was slightly ajar. He opened it and was met with a sight of a red room. He said that the room was filled with strange symbols and that he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Before he could react, however, the door suddenly slammed shut and he was plunged into darkness. When he finally found his way out of the building, he realized that no one had seen him enter and no one knew that he had been in the building at all. Some say the Red Room is simply a metaphor for the dark recesses of our minds, a place where our deepest fears and anxieties reside. Others believe it's a warning of sorts, a sign that we should be careful of what we wish for. After all, if we're not careful, our worst fears can become reality. Do you believe in the Red Room? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And now moving on to our next story. Number 2, The Hookman. The Hookman is a legendary killer who is said to stalk the night, looking for his next victim. His weapon of choice, a deadly hook that he uses to dispatch his prey with ease. The story goes that he first appears as a shadowy figure, lurking at the edge of your vision, always keeping himself hidden in the darkness. Then, as you walk along, oblivious to the danger that lurks nearby, he strikes with lightning speed, his hook flashing in the moonlight. Once he makes his move, there's no escape. He drags his victims away into the night, their screams echoing in the darkness as they disappear into the shadows. But the Hookman doesn't just attack random people. He seems to target couples who are alone in the dark, especially those who are parked in secluded areas. Some say he preys on those who are vulnerable, looking for an easy target. Others believe he simply enjoys the fear and panic he causes, taking pleasure in the terror he inflicts on his victims. Whatever the case may be, the Hookman is a terrifying figure who has haunted the nightmares of many. His story has been passed down through generations, and each telling makes him more terrifying than the last. Is he a figment of our collective imagination, a boogeyman created to scare children into good behavior? Or is he something more, a real-life killer who stalks the night, waiting for his next victim? Unfortunately, we may never know for sure. But that's part of what makes the Hookman legend so scary. He could be real, and that's a scary thought indeed. Moving on to our next story. Number 1, alligators playing D&D. This one is on so much a story as it is a disturbing rumor that surfaced online several years ago. The rumor claimed that a group of alligators had been caught playing Dungeons and Dragons in the sewers of New Orleans. Now, if you've ever played D&D, you know that it's just a game. A game of Dungeons and Dragons is played with dice and miniatures and takes place in a fantasy world. So how could a group of alligators be playing it? Well, according to the rumor, these alligators weren't any ordinary creatures. They were intelligent beings who had somehow learned the game from humans. The rumor spread like wildfire, and soon everyone was talking about the D&D playing alligators. Some people even claimed to have seen them, describing them as wearing tiny robes and using miniature weapons. But the truth of the matter is, no one knows if the alligators are really playing D&D. It's possible that it's just a silly rumor that got out of hand. Or maybe there really is a secret society of D&D playing gators living in the sewers of New Orleans. Who knows? If you ever find yourself in New Orleans, though, you might want to keep an eye out for alligators playing D&D, just in case. Thanks for watching. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed these scary stories that were never supposed to be told. Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more stories like these, then check out the playlist. Also, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you don't miss another video. Until next time, stay safe.